Hello, my name is Glenn Dyer, and you are watching a Dyer-Situation. Today I'm seeing Wonder Woman. The first Wonder Woman movie, as far as I know, not ever. I don't even think there was a TV movie. It's the first ever Wonder Woman movie. It's a milestone, and I'm extremely worried. Understandably so. The first 3 movies in this cinematic DC universe have been terrible. Man of Steel, I hated. Batman v Superman was just awful. Suicide Squad might be even worse. I'm just noticing a pattern here. 3 times in a row. Like, how do you dispute that? But, then again, this one does have a different director, but so did Suicide Squad. But, then again, the trailer to this looked awful. But since when does a trailer actually reflect what a movie is? And critics have been praising it, but critics also praised Ghostbusters. See, this is complicated. I don't know. Honestly. So, I'm gonna go in there with the best possible attitude anybody could ever have. I'm gonna hope for the best and expect the worst, because I think that's, with the information given, all I can do. So, let's see it. And I'm back. So, during the first half of the movie, my entire thoughts of this were, well, it's a movie. And that automatically brings it several steps above Suicide Squad, so we're already outdoing the rest of the DC universe. And then, the second half, it's fucking awesome. I loved it. Yeah, this movie has issues. It has problems like any other. Definitely compared to something like Guardians of the Galaxy or and most Marvel products, well, not most, but a lot of Marvel products compared to many of our action movies, this is not the best. But compared to the recent DC things, compared to any other movie starring a female superhero, compared to many other films, including films I've recently seen like King Arthur, this was great. Honestly. It has a lot of especially in comparison to King Arthur, just because that's here right now. Tone-wise, remember I said that King Arthur had a tone problem in that this great big action scene will come on and then he'll say something stupid to make you laugh, and it doesn't quite work because the entire action scene is totally miserable and there really shouldn't be a joke in there. And also Batman v Superman, that also happened, like they rescue Superman's mom and stuff, and then they said some stupid joke, or even more so, that dramatic scene where Congress is blown up or something during like a trial of Superman, and they cap it off with a piss joke. It doesn't work. But this movie, it has funny moments. It has, a light tone at points, but when it goes to the dark stuff, it gradually turns there. It's not jarring, it's not out of place. It's like an actual movie. They move from thing to thing. There are high points and there are low points. I should not be praising this. This is just decent screenwriting. But I feel I have to point it out because it honestly God separates it from a lot of other films. So there is a lot to admire here, and honestly, before I even go on, I have to say I do recommend the movie. I do think it's very good. And definitely It's definitely worth a viewing, I think. So let's get on to some of the bad points here, just because there are some that are kind of glaring, and I'm going to go with the biggest one first. Okay. Chris Pine in the movie, he was fine. He did a good job. Many other actors and actresses in the movie, good job. The lady who plays Wonder Woman, though, and she's just awful. I'm sorry. I know some people have been like praising her on the internet or something. I watched this. I was not expecting anything. I know I didn't really like her in Batman v Superman, but I was willing to admit that that was probably just because everything was fucked up in Batman v Superman. And she's only in there for 15 minutes. She didn't really have time to show any dramatic leveling here. But here, you know, she has to experience all sorts of levels of emotion. And she's just terrible. Okay, alright, lady. I want you to be really upset right now. Okay. Now you're worried about these people who have entered your land. Okay, and now you're angry at them. You're very angry. I'm sorry. It's terrible. She subscribes to the Vince Vaughn school of dramatic acting. Never close your mouth. And the thing is, I was kind of worried about this even long before this movie was announced. Back when Batman v Superman was announced. Back when they said who was playing Wonder Woman. Because it was a supermodel. That's, like, I looked up her biography and she plays normally a very attractive woman, and that's it. Not a very strong or imposing woman like Wonder Woman is. She plays a supermodel. And it doesn't quite cross over. I mean, you don't get Zac Efron to play Superman because it would be terrible. He doesn't have the charisma for it. It doesn't work. Like, honestly, I mean, she does kind of have, like, the height, I suppose, and if you look at her in costume in, like, certain battle scenes, you know, that looks like Wonder Woman, I suppose, but on every other level, this was a terrible casting choice. I'm so sorry. But, I just can't let that go. She is the main thing bringing down the movie, the lady playing Wonder Woman. But here's the thing, and probably the reason why the second half is so much better. The first half is where she does get all those character moments where they're building her up and stuff, and she is well written, but whenever she has to emote something, it's just awful. And the second half is more dedicated towards just fighting and just pure emotion and, like, Bahubali-style action scenes going on, which are so cool. There's this thing where she... You know, this is set during World War I, right? And there's this thing where, like, she decides to take action in the trenches and stuff, and, like, runs across no man's land and stuff, and at that point, you don't really care that much about the emotional, you don't really care about how well she can act, just she's doing something awesome, and it works. It works, honestly. I'm not being cynical here, it just works out well that way. Although, honestly, in that scene, I was wondering, isn't there normally, like, landmines in No Man's Land? Why isn't she stepping on landmines? Whatever. But yeah, that is my biggest gripe, and I do think that it is lessened in the second half, when it just becomes more of, like, revenge and intensity and all that stuff, and at that point, like, acting competence doesn't matter that much. It's during the more subtle parts at the beginning that it's just... Oh god, there are extras in the background who are doing a better job at this. But, yeah. But otherwise, it's a very good movie. Might not make the top 10 this year, but it is competent. It is nothing like the other DC movies. It's not as good as the Dark Knight trilogy, I'm afraid, but it is leagues ahead of Man of Steel. planet sizes ahead of Batman v Superman, and I'm pretty sure entire universes away from Suicide Squad. In fact, the fact that these two things technically take place in the same universe is sickening to me. Also, there's this scene at the end where she, like, lunges at the camera, and it's supposed to be, like, the dramatic ending, but I'm not sure what the hell she was doing. It was weird. Like, she's in London, and she leaps across buildings at nothing in particular, and the camera's, like, on her face going, yeah! But it's really silly. But yeah, there's a lot of... There's more stupid things than that. As I said, it has a lot more problems. But aside from the casting of Wonder Woman, it's all more minor, nitpicky things, and maybe just things that don't matter that much in the overall scheme. The basic result here is it's a good watch. It handles the dramatic parts well, handles the slightly lighthearted parts well. It handles the ensemble well. It has a cast of, like, there's, like, these side characters that join her and stuff, and they all have their own characterization to them, and even though they don't have much, like, backstory, well, they do have backstory. They don't have much screen time. They get their personalities across really well, and you kind of root for them. It's kind of cool. Like, way better than Rogue One on that level, definitely. So as you can see, I'm saying I'm giving it much higher good points than low points. This is a good movie. This is a very good movie, and I do recommend it. So until next time, I'm Glenn Dyer, and you have been watching A Dyer Situation.